Well, folks, we may be reaching the end of Western civilization when women parade around naked on OnlyFans and then justify that activity by saying that, sure, mom was a prostitute, but now you, child, you'll have a nice car. Okay, so Piers Morgan had on his show recently an OnlyFans model. Okay, an OnlyFans model is what we used to call a porn person, a pornographer person, a porn star. That's what we used to call them, just people get naked for money. And now we pretend that they are legitimate parts of the economy. That's what we do now, which brings to mind the old apocryphal quote that has been attributed to both Winston Churchill and Oscar Wilde. Supposedly, we'll use Churchill for this example, he was talking to a lady at some sort of fancy event, and he asked her, would you sleep with me for £1 million? And she said, I'd have to think about it. He said, would you sleep with me for £1? And she said, how dare you, sir? He said, we've already established what you are. We're now just haggling over the price. Well, this came to mind because this OnlyFans model was on with Piers Morgan. He's like, what do you think your kids are one day going to think of the fact that mommy was making money by showing her breasts to random men on the internet? And here was her answer.
Online strippers just, naked. I do things that are way more grotesque than
just
that.
Pornography.
Pornography, anything. But it's all within what I want to do. And I absolutely love it. And I'm really good at it. I could be a good lawyer, yes, but also am I good at doing other things on video and camera?
How would you feel when you want to have kids yourself?
Well, I mean, I don't really want kids right now. But
you will do. How old are you?
25.
Right, so you will do at some stage, probably, right?
Maybe.
When you do, you're going to be proud that you have your little ones and they look at you and go, didn't you want to be a lawyer, Mummy? What happened?
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, but look at all my stuff.
They can cry in a Ferrari.
Oh, they can cry in a Ferrari. So the money is what's going to make it up to them. I just have some news for you. It isn't. It isn't. It turns out that kids who are rich, but their parents are really screwed up, they remain incredibly screwed up. That's the way this works. And there is something wrong with the idea that a woman should value her own accomplishment in getting men to be aroused as they are at, their intellectual accomplishments. Not to sound like too much of a feminist here, but it turns out that women are more than their body parts. I know. It's crazy. Women actually have inherent dignity as human beings. And when they simply unclothe themselves for the perverse pleasure of random men sitting in their pathetic basements and paying the money, they are doing harm to their souls. They are doing harm to their very beings. They may pretend that it's a matter of just personal freedom and all of the rest, but it turns out that consent is not the only value. People consent to do bad things to themselves all the time, and we don't like it as a society. When people inject themselves with heroin, that is consensual activity. It also happens to be very, very bad for them. A society that basically boils down its morality to the virtue of consent is a society that has lost all notion of good and bad. People have consented to evil activity for literally all of time. And it isn't evil to unclothe before random men for money. It is bad for you. It is bad for them. It undermines the very idea that women should be looked upon with anything more than simple lust. It's a perversity. And the fact that she says, oh, I'm really, really good at it. Okay, seriously, as a dude, let me tell you what it takes for a beautiful woman to be good at being naked. Being naked. That's what it takes. Wow, she's amazing at it. Wow, look at her extraordinary skill in being naked. She's amazing at being, come on. I'm not a fan of the comedian Amy Schumer because, frankly, she hasn't been funny for a very long time. But she did have a line at one point that I think was accurate and speaks to this. She said, the difference between girls and guys? A guy goes to the bar and he's lucky if he can pick up a girl. She says, I'm overweight. I don't look amazing right now, but I can, this is her phrase, catch a dick anytime I want to, right? That was Amy Schumer's phrase. And let me just be realistic about this. That is absolutely true. The CEO of Innovation Refunds and GetRefunds.com has been on TV explaining how they've helped so many small businesses with their ERC tax refunds. They've completed thousands of returns for different kinds of businesses, including over $700 million for construction companies, over $200 million in restaurants, bars, and hotels. Innovation Refunds has hundreds of 5-star Trustpilot and Google reviews and is certified with the Better Business Bureau. In just 8 minutes, you can easily start the process on GetRefunds.com. You could be on your way to receiving up to $26,000 per employee. The ERC tax credit's not alone. It's a refund of your already paid taxes designed to let the business owner direct the refund money into anything the business needs to grow. It's money you can use to improve your business however you see fit. Head on over to GetRefunds.com to get that process started. There's no upfront charge. They're not going to get paid unless you get paid, so you have nothing to lose. Innovation Refunds has already helped clients claim over $5 billion in payroll tax refunds through the ERC. They might be able to help your business as well. Head on over to getrefunds.com or download the app from the App Store today. Again, that is getrefunds.com today. Getrefunds.com today. If you paid too much money to the federal government, you get some of that money back. Why exactly wouldn't you do that? Head on over to getrefunds.com today and get started. If you're a half-decent looking woman, the idea that you cannot find a man to have sex with you is absurd because the differences between the male sexual instinct and the female sexual instinct are incredibly large. Yeah, those are very significant differences. As I've said before, when it comes to sex, women need a reason. Men just need a time and a place. So the notion that she is like somehow freeing herself. Now, maybe it gives her a sense of control over these men. Maybe it gives her a sense that she has more power in the universe, but that power belongs to pretty much any woman. It's just that she is the only person who is willing to subject herself to vile gazes in order to make money, which is a bad thing to do. It makes you a not particularly good person. So when people say things like sex work is work, well, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's the worst kind of work in the most derogatory sense of work. But that does not mean that it is a good thing to do, that you are playing an equal part in the economy, in the progress of humanity, if you work as a lawyer or as a coder, as if you take off your clothes on camera for a bunch of incels living in their basements to you. It's not the same thing. And when she says that, don't worry, she's going to make it up to her kid because she's going to buy him a Ferrari, again, the notion that you can supplant with material things morality is absurd. And it's a mistake that our entire culture is making right now. In fact, there was a study from the Wall Street Journal fairly recently, we talked about on the show, looking at what Americans now think about being American, what they think is important. Things like parenthood are in steep decline. It used to be that a huge percentage of Americans said that like one of the most important things about being a good person and being a good American was having kids and having a family and getting married. And now the thing they think about the most is material well-being, meaning like earning, how much money I make. Well, there's nothing wrong with thinking about how much money you make when that is in service to a higher goal. Money is instrumental. But we have now come to the point, I think, in Western civilization where money, because morality is no longer an object, because we've dispensed with the ideas of good and bad, we've now decided that money is no longer instrumental. Money is a measurement of are you good or bad as a person. It's like an objective, it's like a video game. The more money you have in the bank, the more Ferraris you can buy your kids. It no longer matters whether you are being a prostitute on camera. What really matters is that you can buy the Ferrari for your kid. Materialism has become its own goal. The money, which used to be good for, buying things for your kids because you, within the context of a strong family structure, or getting a nice house that you can have more kids, or giving a lot of charity, or building businesses to hire people. Money as an instrumental, useful thing. That has been transformed into money as a thing of inherent value. And once money becomes a thing of inherent value, then it does become an immoral thing. If you treat money as though it has inherent value, it makes you a better person to have money. The money itself makes you a better person. Or the money itself justifies whatever immoral activity you wish to perform. It's about that the Bible speaks when it talks about the dangers of wealth. Wealth itself is not actually inherently dangerous. In fact, the vast majority of prophets in the Bible were wealthy people. A lot of them were very, very wealthy people. The question is how that wealth is used. What is the wealth for? Is it dedicated to a higher goal or is it not dedicated to a higher goal? And if the answer is it's not dedicated to a higher goal, that's how you buy off your kids when they find a picture of you naked online. Good luck to you and good luck to your kids. Alrighty, guys, the rest of the show is continuing right now. You're not going to want to miss it. Matt Walsh just broke a massive story. His producer was able to obtain a referral for a testicle removal in 22 minutes by talking to one of these trans medicine factories. Matt's going to join the show momentarily. If you're not a member, become a member. Use code Shapiro. Check out for 2 months free on all annual plans. Click the link in the description and join us.